Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. A very warm welcome to Meet Menaca to celebrate you. Today, we are going to talk about promoting oral health. It's a very special episode for me personally, because 5 international speakers who studied with me almost 3 decades ago are coming to speak on promoting oral health. And I am hoping this session is going to be as informative as possible, but at the same time, we are going to have some fun. So looking forward to that. Big thank you for everyone who helps us do this all the time, who tunes in on Facebook and comes on the Zoom and support us week after week. A huge gratitude for all of you. Today, the speakers are going to be Dr. Hasin Syed, Dr. Rinku Kochar Kapoor, Dr. Naganandini, Dr. Raju Srinivas, and Dr. Radhika. Let me start by saying something about the show. Meet Menaca features real people sharing real stories and healthcare professionals coming and sharing their knowledge and wisdom to improve their health overall. It's a vibrant multicultural online talk show to celebrate you. We are going to request you to support us to spread these messages all across the world, because it is a social cause. And if you please go and subscribe to our YouTube channel, come and join us and be the change maker yourself. In Mahatma Gandhi's words, you can be the change you want to see in the world. And this is one way to do it. So what are we going to talk about today? As children, our parents encourage us to take extra care of our teeth, instill good habits such as brushing twice daily and regular visits to the dentist. However, as we get older and get busy, we may not be as vigilant as we used to be. Why is it important? Oral health and general health are closely interlinked. Few understand that the mouth is a reflection of our overall health. Our mouth also can harbor microbes like other parts of the body. Good oral health not only impacts general health, it also influences the level of confidence. A smile is the gateway to your heart and foster relationships. So let us find out more about the importance of oral health from our panel of speakers. So let me introduce the panel of speakers. Dr. Hasin Syed, she's a wife, mother, teacher, and dentist, has been practicing at her own private practice, distinctive dental care, for 15 years. Based in USA, she's also an adjunct faculty at the University of Minnesota. Her belief is rooted in fundamentals such as thorough patient education and informed consent. Next speaker is Dr. Naganandini. She is an award-winning dentist, author, speaker, and a teacher. She has 22 years of teaching and research experience, an accredited clinical researcher, and the professor and head of department of the public health dentistry at National Institute of Medical Science University. Dr. Naganandini is passionate about preventative and public health and has conducted more than 1,000 dental camps. She's also a certified dermatoglyphic consultant. Next speaker is Dr. Raju Srinivas. He's a professor at Rajiv Gandhi University with 25 years of experience and 3 successful dental practices. He works as a consultant in multiple clinics in Andhra, Tamil Nadu, and Bangalore, India. He's a specialist implantologist, endodontist, and cosmetic dentist. The next speaker is Dr. Radhika. She has a diploma in aesthetics from New York University. She has been in a private practice for 22 years. An international lecturer, she has taught primary oral health care at government schools in Delhi and served as a dental consultant at the Healthcare Center in Temple. Last but not the least, our Sergeant Lieutenant Commander, Dr. Rinku Kochar Kapoor, is an ex-Indian Navy officer with over 25 years professional experience. She has her own state-of-the-art clinic in the Millennium City of Gurgaon. Specializing in endodontics and implantology, Dr. Kapoor has deep-rooted values of the armed forces and is uncompromising on ethics of dental practice, believing in conservative approach. So here is the introduction of all our speakers. A very warm welcome to all of you. And what a pleasure to see what accomplishment they have. And most of them are much more qualified than me. And it is such a privilege to have them on this platform. A very warm welcome to you all. Today, we are going to start by asking questions and answers to the panels as we usually do. Firstly, can I ask you, Dr. Rinku Kapoor, what is oral health awareness and why is it important?
Menaca, before answering this, why is awareness, oral awareness important? I'd like to first tell what is oral hygiene. In simple words, oral hygiene is basically, it's a practice to keep your teeth, your gums, on the whole, the oral cavity clean from bacteria in order to prevent the bacterial propagation, and secondly, to prevent the bacteria from reaching certain levels wherein it can lead to oral diseases. So now coming to your question which you posed is why is awareness necessary, essential? So though oral cavity is one of the biggest openings in the mouth with maximum bacteria thriving in the region, and the issue enhancing our looks, it is the most neglected part of the body. We all know that bad hygiene leads to bad tooth and bad tooth leads to tooth loss. But our awareness is only limited to this. Maximum people just know that they're not aware of the cascading effects of poor oral hygiene, that what after tooth loss, what can a tooth loss lead to? So it can affect your chewing efficiency, it can reduce that, it can reduce your vertical height. By loss of chewing efficiency, there can be acid reflux. By loss of vertical height, it can affect our TM joint, which can lead to make the cheek muscles tender. So therefore, we need to make people aware of the fact that bacteria living in our oral cavity not only acts locally onto our gums, onto our tooth, onto the oral tissues, it also finds entry into the bloodstream, leading to systemic diseases like heart diseases and diabetes. Other than this, it also finds its path into its way into the digestive system through the food bolus that we take. So hence, our experiences and studies have revealed that there's a direct link between the oral cavity and so hence, in a nutshell, I would like to say that mouth is a gateway to the diseases and a window to the body.
Sure. Thank you, Rinku. So it is really important and it is really closely linked. And I do agree with you, not only the general public, even healthcare professionals as such are sometimes not aware of the close link. And, we don't do enough to refer to each other or, to ensure the oral health is promoted. So I know, Nandini, it is your expertise. So I'm going to ask you, how is oral health linked to general health, Nandini?
First of all, I would like to thank you, Dr. Menaca, for giving this opportunity to be at your show. Oral health is a gateway or window to your overall health. It is more important rather than what we have realized. It is more important than that. It offers clues to the oral problems, what is inside, or the oral cavity problems will lead to the problems in the other parts of the body. So we'll just see what is the connection between the oral health as well as the general health. Mouth is the entry point for our both digestive as well as the respiratory system. If poor oral health is there, if we do not maintain our oral health, then it will lead to digestive diseases as well as the respiratory diseases. Then how this is connected? The oral cavity has many bacteria, which is very much harmless and it is there throughout. But When our oral hygiene is not proper, poor oral hygiene and the defense mechanism of ours, when it is altered, what happens? It causes diseases. Then many severe gum disease, we call it as periodontal disease, that has impact on many parts of the body, like diabetes mellitus. If oral health is not maintained or if it is poor, then sugar levels will shoot up, and that will not be in control. For a diabetic patient, it is very important to maintain his oral health. Coming to pneumonia, some of the bacteria, if the oral health is not maintained, it gets lodged into the lungs, causing pneumonia. Then in case of pregnant ladies have to maintain a good oral health, or else studies have shown that it causes preterm delivery and low birth weight babies. Then coming to endocarditis. Endocardium is the lining of the heart valves and the heart chamber. Once the bacteria which is there in the oral cavity with improper oral hygiene or poor maintenance are the same species which is going to cause the inflammation of the endocardium, causing endocarditis. Then in case of cardiovascular diseases, it is not clearly understood, but studies have shown that it is linked, the heart disease, the blockage of the arteries, as well as the stroke. All these are related to the inflammation and infection of the oral diseases. So it is so important to maintain the oral cavity, and sometimes it acts as a mirror. It shows, like HIV AIDS can be diagnosed by just seeing the oral cavity, as there will be mucosal lesions, very painful mucosal lesions, and even nutritional deficiencies can be made out through seeing the mouth. So what I suggest is, it is very important to maintain the oral health, but people neglect to go to the dentist because of various reasons. So that is what I wanted to conclude, that it is having connection with the overall health.
Sure. Thank you so much, Nandini. And I couldn't agree more, because I think it is really that awareness is important, the close link between the general health and oral health, and hopefully more people will start paying attention to it. So I know, it's really important. We have established that why is it important? It has general health benefits, also confidence. It gives it enhances relationships. So given all this, why do people avoid going to the dentist? Can I ask you, Radhika, that question, please?
Namaste, everybody. Thank you, Menaca, for giving me this opportunity to talk here on this esteemed platform of yours. Why do people avoid or basically delay dental treatments? There are actually various reasons. Just to throw some light on the few important ones, I would like to mention that first and foremost is the lack of dental health education and misinformation. Not only at, it starts at the primary level and goes up till the tertiary level. It's not only that the children are not informed, it is even adults who are not informed, who actually are supposed to pass on the information further. Like, it begins from the family and also at school level, where I feel proper, though the checkups are being conducted, but then there is no chapter as such in our books that teaches us how to even brush our teeth, or how many teeth do we have. And likewise, like people, when they bring their kids to the operatory or the dental office, they just, if there is any problem, they would suggest the dentist rather, okay, you just extract the tooth. It does not matter. It's just a milk tooth. We will get the fresh one and the new one and the permanent one. So that will be better. And we try to tell them, we try to educate them. That is the first thing that we tell them. If you cannot take care of the primary tooth, then what is the assurance that you will actually take care of your permanent teeth, which should actually last for a lifetime, right? And sometimes there are few things like anxiety about the drill sounds, the few kind of smells in the dental operatory because of the dental materials, and the the site, our operatory site, and also something called as white coat syndrome, which is like when the patient, whether it is an adult who are visiting for the first time or even small young children, they see all of us, the dentist, the ancillary, the staff, everybody wearing white coats and hovering around the patient. So we are there to make the patient feel comfortable, and we do need our assistants there to do that as well. But yet they feel scared, on the dental chair, because this is the reason sometimes they avoid to go, because they feel, I do not know the drill, how is it going to feel. Okay, they only associate it with pain or discomfort, and at times people feel claustrophobic because of this. Not only this, major reasons I have seen are also because of some kind of bad dental office experiences, which are like previously they have had, because of which they again try to avoid and procrastinate, that okay, some other day, whenever probably they have a sleepless night in pain, either they or their kids. And last but not the least, something which is very essential in Asian countries, we do not have any dental insurance, because of which the cost, which is, we all know dental treatment is actually expensive for any common man. So because of no dental insurances, it becomes difficult for a common man to go for a regular checkup like that and spend money on it, So unless they actually get that kind of pain that is intolerable, they try to keep on postponing it. And then definitely we have this anxiety or the fears, which I'm sure, my friend, Dr.
Sure.
Haseen, is going to
Sure.
throw some light
Thank you.
on.
Sure. Thanks, Radhika. Yes, exactly. When I came to this country, I realized people say that patients or the general public's fear of dentists is equivalent to the fear of parking wardens. So, it is as bad. So I was really surprised, because I was at least not that aware of so much fear was there. And sometimes parents would come or sit on the chair and say, I'd rather give birth to another child than come to the dentist. So yes, Haseen, I know this is a topic you are passionate about, why the fear and how can we manage that fear of dentists and why should we do it? So the question I pose to you, Haseen.
Thank you, Menaca, for having me here today. It is definitely a pleasure to be here and to be talking about the topic promoting oral health. Coming to the question about fear, yes, the phrases we commonly hear in our daily visits and in the daily in and out of our office, in the office, is that I hate to be here. It's nothing against you, doc, but I hate to be here. I hate the dentist. Another one goes, I'd rather give birth to a baby, like Menaca said, than being here. We can't take offense to this. It is something which we really need to dwell on as to why these words are said. There has to be a root cause on why people say these things. So finding out the root cause, which is fear, it's very important for us to kind of find out what it is all about, right? So learned behavior. Fear is nothing but a learned behavior. It could be something which has happened in childhood. It has been a very traumatic experience, which kind of continues through the adult. Another one being that, you are listening to somebody else's experience. Usually that's what happens. Either they're Google searching or they are listening to somebody else who has gone and had a very bad experience. It's, the friends and family, and they assume that's for everybody. Pain tolerance is different for everybody. It's a different procedure, different oral cavities for everybody. The other one being their own personal experience. Like Radhika said, not going on a regular visits because of the different reasons, not being able to afford it and not having enough knowledge. What happens is you land up to the dentist at the wrong time. You're in pain, you're frustrated, and you have to have some intervention done. And that your dentist is the bad cop, unfortunately, even though, you're trying to give the relief, but, it's not so. I think, how do we overcome this fear? What I feel about overcoming the fear is, firstly, when the patient sees you in your office at the first time, one of the questions has to be like, is there anything we need to be worried about? Is there any concerns? What is the fear you're worried about? What happened to you in your previous experience? Trying to understand what exactly went around helps a lot. Trying to facilitate that we can make it a better experience, knowing the fears of what has happened to them before. Also trying to talk about the fear, which is very, very important, is that to verbalize the fear. Talk to the patient. Even if you have to waste one appointment, it's worth it, because you're going to gain the trust. So you want to talk about the fears, talk about why, how, and there are a lot of ways that we can make a dental experience very, very easy and fearless. It's about gaining the trust. Again, trust goes hand in hand with fear. The more you trust, the fear goes down. And once you have that, going again with, on those lines, you have to have informed consent. Informed consent is something where you are going to explain to the patient, getting their consent, which is a part and parcel of being, giving them the authority to tell you what to do, and taking their consent that we are going to be able to help you. So I think that plays a big role in trying to educate the patient at the same time, get them out of this fear. So hopefully making them experience a good one. Thank you,
Haseen. Thank you so much, Haseen. And I couldn't agree more. It is so, so important to gain trust. But another thing you mentioned is like people get those fear from family and friends. So for that reason, usually in my practice, when a nervous mother comes, I always tell them your treatment has to be separated from your children's appointments. I will never see the family together, because what happens, mother comes, she is nervous, and then of course you can just imagine what will follow suit. So I just tell, separate the appointments, come separately, and we will deal with you separately. And so at least then the children don't get influenced by it. And it is so, so important. And I cannot, tell the importance of trust. Trust is everything in any healthcare profession. It's not only dentistry, it goes across the board, but it is vital for you to, the more you explain earlier and the more you understand them and they understand you and what is important for them, I think the less complications you will have later. So so we have discussed so far what stops people from seeing a dentist. So let us come to the point that people have overcome all these fears and barriers and decided to come to a dentist. So once the patient has overcome these barriers or chose to attend for whatever reason, for pain, like someone mentioned, they were awake the entire night, so they were forced to come. However, they had to come. That once they attend the dentist, what can they expect to happen so that we can promote oral health? Can I ask this question to Raju?
Thanks, Menaca, for having me on your show. It's my privilege. See, once we have the patient, after all his research in getting to us and has made his final choice of a dentist, we greet him and introduce ourselves and ensure the patient's comfort and that he has made his right choice. And we then listen to him and then his issues and detailedly and patiently. And we do a thorough checkup and then plan a primary and secondary treatment for him. And the patient is informed of all the problems what he has in his mouth. So we use all the motivation tools or intraoral cameras, x-rays, scans, and to explain different line of treatment for addressing the same problem. For example, an infected tooth can be removed to relieve the pain or can be saved by doing a root canal. And it is exactly like that. The option of replacement of a removable denture is there with a fixed partial denture. So there are multiple treatment options which we can explain to him. And we share the treatment plan in detail and before giving him an appointment and the duration of the treatment and the treatment charges And with the reason we explain them in detail is because these days, thanks to YouTube and Google, more often than not, the patient are already researched a complete plan of treatment, which is not not necessarily the right information they have. So we have to give them the right information. With the patient concern, we proceed with the emergency treatment or the primary complaint, whatever he has. Once the patient is relieved of the pain, then we start addressing the other issues to rehabilitate his oral hygiene completely. And we further provide instructions of do's and don'ts to him, and like brushing techniques, oral hygiene measures, and post-treatment care. And then coming to the follow-up, once with the treatment is done, we come to the follow-up. We have an immediate follow-up, and then we have a follow-up maybe after 24 hours or 48 hours or 72 hours. Or and maybe a short-term follow-up like a 1 week or 15 days. Then immediate follow-up is for checking his cheek bite, jaw pain, grinding, and any gum inflammations. And we have a biannual follow-up also, which includes oral prophylaxis, check for any of the cavities, habits, grinding over all the other checkup of his bone and oral health, and unusual enamel wear. So, as it is important that enamel being a non-forming structure, once formed is for life, the best is to protect it.
Thank you so much, Raju. I totally agree with everything you said. It is so important to first deal with the problem they come to. That's because, Hasin spoke about trust, you spoke about trust as well. And that is how you gain trust, because first, I think it's so important for you to deal with the problem. What is the most important issue for the patient, and not in your opinion, because that's how you develop rapport in anything, even if it is coaching or training. When people come to you, you have to deal with the problem what people come to you with, not what you think is, it's the need and want is the difference, isn't it? So I think, to recap what Raju said, I think it's about first sorting out the problem what they came for, if it's any emergency, to make sure the oral cavity is stabilized with any temporary fillings or any oral health instructions or anything is needed. Then you go in, dive deep, like Raju said, to do all the treatment. And then at the end, you tell them how to maintain it. It's so important, and have a regime to maintain. And once you gain that trust and their problems are sorted, more likely that people will keep coming to you. And because people will keep coming to you so that their oral health can be maintained, not because you want them to come, because it is good for them. And I'm going to pitch that line, what Raju said, enamel, once it's gone forever, and it's not going to regenerate. So it is a really good, powerful thing to tell the patients. Going back to Rinku, I remember in the beginning, you mentioned something about why one of the issues people will have if they lose teeth, or the surface of the tooth is lost, they will have the facial height reduction, or it can affect your appearance. It can have various issues. So can you elaborate on that, Rinku, about tooth surface loss, please?
Yeah. So the tooth loss, it's synonymous to basically wear and tear of the tooth layer by layer. We all are aware that tooth has 3 layers: enamel, dentin, and the pulp. So in this, the patient's chief complaint is sensitivity, or else tenderness. Whenever there's a loss, there can be a loss. There can be a loss of the flat surface of the tooth, or it can be a loss on the near the neck of the tooth. In which the patient's chief complaint is the sensitivity, be it on the occlusals, be it on the flat surface of the tooth, or on the near the neckline of the tooth. As Dr. Raju rightly pointed out, enamel lost is lost forever. So hence, to prevent this from happening, we should be aware of its causes, its preventions, and the treatment. So coming to causes, it can be physiologic loss, which is age-related, as we It's really, it is seen that by the age of 30, there's a physiological loss of tooth by, the tooth losses by around 1, and of the tooth, wherein teeth are trying to commence, leading to wear and tear of the flat surfaces of the tooth. And the third reason can be clenching of tooth, wherein it's a form of showing anger. And the fourth is bruxism, which is, again, it can be habitual grinding during the day or night. And so these points, they were basically grinding of the teeth, rubbing of the teeth against each other. So other than this, there can be foreign bodies causing friction onto the tooth. That can be because of hard bristles, wherein tooth selection is very important, and hard brushing, a person applying too much of pressure while brushing. And other than this, the habitual causes can be both internal and external. People habituated to having carbonated drinks. It's basically, it's an acidic effect. Acid eats away, we all know acid eats away surfaces, so which holds good for the tooth as well. So coming to the acidic diet, this covers your carbonated drinks, it covers your alcohol, fresh juices, energy drinks, which is a part of our daily life. And internal causes can be acidic reflux or bulimia. So in order to prevent this from happening, people should be aware of the preventive means. So the physiologic loss, as I first mentioned, this can, you can't fight age, so it has to happen. And as far as the improper alignment is considered, I think, yes, one should regularly visit an orthodontist and a doctor, a dentist, to identify the issue and get it treated. Clenching of the tooth, if the prevention is in your hands, I would suggest meditation and not working on your anger. And bruxism, again, it needs to be treated. And as far as the as far as the friction from a foreign body is concerned, its prevention is that you better select a good toothbrush, which has got medium bristles or soft. I would recommend a medium or a soft bristle, and not to apply too much of pressure while brushing. And though coming to the acidic intake, that is like through your alcohol or fruit juices, I would not suggest that you eliminate it totally, but yes, reduction of its intake can be taken care of, and you can reduce the intake of it. And a patient with an acidic reflux definitely has to go through a treatment, get it treated through antacids, or and work through the dietary control. Now, all this finally, coming to the treatment aspect. If we taking care of the sensitivity, the initial treatment is that you get the dentin surfaces, the nerves which are exposed onto the surfaces, go to a dentist and get it treated superficially, either through a filling or we have our own means to treat it. And if it's bruxism, get a mouth guard done for yourself. And again, as I mentioned, eliminating carbonated drinks from your diet, or else keep yourself hydrated more, such that your water tends to neutralize the acidity in your mouth, and try to eat food which enhances the production of saliva. So all this would help in neutralizing the acidic effect through acid reflux. And, yes, and reducing the intake of sugary products. I would basically, in the end, it's your oral health is paramount. So.
Thank you so much, Rinku. I think you listed out quite a few things, what to avoid and how you can manage it. And I think to add on to that, I think, piercing is another issue we have. Piercing your tongue or piercing your lip, it can also cause damage to your tooth. So, that is another thing you have to be definitely bear in mind when you do it. The other thing I come across is occupational hazard. People who are carpenters or builders and even tailors, they hold their nails or needles on the front teeth, and you can see a group happening over time. So I think these are a couple of things came to mind, but you have elaborately told how to avoid and how to manage. So thank you so much, Rinku, for that. So Rinku said she insisted why it is important again to maintain the oral health. It's not only awareness, then once it's the treatment, and even Raju mentioned at the end it has to be maintained, and I reinforce the same thing. So Nandini is our specialist to go to when it comes to or anything to with public health and oral health. So Nandini, why do you think maintaining oral health is so important, and how can we manage? How do you teach and tell your patients, your students, why it is so important? I know you do a lot of public health camps as well, so you deal with the public as well.
Yeah, it's very important to maintain the oral health. The basic things, the regular, what we do on everyday practice it is brush twice daily, especially the nighttime brushing immediately after your last food. Don't wait till you go to sleep. Immediately after the last food, you have to brush. Then flossing is very important. Do not forget to clean your tongue. Tongue cleaning is also important, and anything, whatever we eat, we have to gargle the mouth, rinse the mouth with just plain water. We just take it for granted. See, when we have food with our hand, immediately after having food, we just go and wash it. But or with a spoon, we just wash the spoon. But mouth, we don't wash it regularly. I mean, gargle it immediately after brushing. So what I thought, it is very important in selection of the brush. So I just got this thing. Is it visible, the brush?
Yes, it is, Nandini. Thank you. Yeah.
It is always preferable to have a straight brush, straight handle. It reduces the fatigue. If the angulated is there, fatigue will be more. So go for a straight handle. Then when you put the brush has to be with a short head. And when you put the dentifrice, I've already put the dentifrice, okay? It is to be 1 centimeter. How can we measure 1 centimeter? It is less than the half the bristle length. These are the bristles. Half the bristle length is 1 centimeter. So just put 1 centimeter of the dentifrice or just smear on it. Then you have to tap it so that the dentifrice get inside the bristles. So it will last for all the teeth. Then we have to keep the brush in pen grasp. Hold the brush as a pen or pencil when we're holding it. Then the brush will be like this. You have to give 45-degree angulation. We don't know how much is 45-degree angulation. Just one tilt from whatever you're holding the pen grasp, just one tilt is 45 degree. Then keep it, start from your upper right, okay? Just when the brush is straight, just one tilt, that is towards the gum. Then hold it on the gum line, gum under teeth, okay? Then just make small circles in the sulcus. That removes the plaque or just a coating, a film which has been formed, which will be made up of bacteria, okay? So just hold it like this, upper right, then you have to proceed to the next teeth, then the front, then upper left, then inner aspect. We call it as palatal surface, the inner aspect of the upper jaw. Then go to the lower jaw, start from the right, left again, okay, complete it to the right, then inside. And whenever you feel it difficult to brush on your anterior teeth, you can change the brush like this. If your arch permits it, then it is fine. You can go with this only. If it doesn't, then just change it like this. And this thing. After once the brushing is completed, just clean your clean your brush with running water, plain running water. Then after that, try to keep it in a dry place. The brush has to be dry, otherwise the bacterial activity will be happening. Then after that, you clean your tongue. Just put your tongue outside, and with the tongue cleaner, plastic one or the metallic one, but plastic is preferred. You can clean the tongue. And some of the brushes will have back, there will be a very soft bristle, or even you can use this end itself to just clean the tongue. That is very important because tongue will harbor many microorganisms. Okay, and do not forget to floss. And even these are small interdental brushes which has to be used for the spaces between our teeth. Even when we have tight contacts, there are brushes which gets into our tight contacts, that is between the teeth surface. We have to just insert in, okay, just do up and down motion. It cleans the all the interproximal areas which can't be cleaned with our toothbrush. Then after that, do not forget to rinse your mouth immediately after whatever you eat. Just with plain water, that is sufficient. Hope I have made the regular routine regime convenient or proper for everyone.
Thank you so much, Anthony. Spoke like a true professor. Thank you. Okay, we all learned, I'm sure it's been reinforced why it is important. And interdental brushing is something I keep telling everyone again and again, and something people miss. I think it's like any other habit. If you keep doing it for a few days, then you cannot live without doing it. I think that's the secret to it. So you said why it is important to have a regime and how you have to clean. So let's start with children, because I think that's where, the most of the time, what we learn as children, at least our parents hope we carry on and do it as much as we can. And I think for sure, I was telling to someone in a conversation 2 days back, as a child, I remember even if we are asleep, my father would carry us and put us in the bathroom till we brush our teeth. We were not allowed to go back to sleep. I wouldn't say I have always continued to do that throughout my life, but it has definitely left an impact. So let's start with children. I know, Radhika, you are passionate about managing children and why it is important. So can I ask you, what are the common problems and how can you manage children to enhance the oral health, Radhika?
Yeah, I am so thrilled. This is my favorite topic and I can go on and on and on. And if I do so, you have to stop me, Menaca.
We will make sure we will stop you.
So the most common problems with children that I see, but actually with everybody, but I have to talk about children first here. The dental cavities, the caries, why they occur, and why they are neglected, because people often feel that let the whole set of teeth erupt or come out and be visible, and then they should visit the dentist. Okay, whereas the first tooth which comes out is equally important like any other tooth. So they have to start maintaining the oral hygiene of the child, the parents, I mean to say, from say between 6 months to 1 year of age when their teeth start erupting. And the parental guidance is the key word here, because unless the parents teach the children how to brush properly and how to even chew properly, the children would not know it. And once I feel the child learns it, it passes on to the generations later on as well. So first, we need to actually educate the parents when they come to the dental office. And as far as children are concerned, they are very young to understand why it is happening. Whatever problems, what is the cavity, only thing that they can feel is pain, and only then they will complain. So if it is, the brushing is done under parental guidance, parents can actually look into their mouth every day, each day, and actually make out any problem just at the beginning of it, and bring the child to the dental office. Also, there is sometimes we see why rampant caries, which is also called as the nursing bottle caries, that is the cavities which happen, is because of the pooling, mostly because of the pooling of the milk inside the mouth when the children are fed, bottle fed. And the sugar in the milk is also very harmful for the children. The best remedy I feel is that I suggest my patients is that after giving them the bottle feed, the last sip should be of plain water, even if it is in the bottle that they use to feed the milk, so that there is no pooling of the milk, because milk has that kind of sugar which can later on at night, especially while they're sleeping, and mostly kids, with the bottles, they go off to sleep. So that pooling of little bit of milk also causes a lot of bacteria to act on the teeth and then result in caries. So this is the first thing we need to actually educate the parents. Then comes the oral habits that we see in children, sometimes like thumb sucking, nail biting, which they sometimes they don't do it voluntary, but it just happens. And they also, parents use pacifiers. Pacifiers mostly have sweeteners in them. Again, these cause caries and then leading to various dental problems. And mostly the problem is of the cavities and the pain associated with it. And I have already spoken about the extraction. When people come with the children, they feel it's okay, we can afford to lose it now. There are various kinds of treatments that are available for children. Like, first and foremost should be preventive. If there are regular dental checkups, we can prevent so many problems. And then is interceptive. Whatever we see, we can stop it there. And definitely, the third one is corrective. Now the problem has occurred and it has reached a certain advanced stage, we need to correct it. Sometimes even irregular shaped teeth, whatever we see in teenagers, people want to know when it is the right time to give them the braces. Something that are important is, again, I emphasize, is the education of the parents first. And the children, yes, most important is whenever they come for the first visit, they should not be treated at all as a patient. First, they have to be familiarized with the environment, with the dental office, with the staff. They have to be, they have to be made feel very comfortable, so that and friendly staff is very important. The dentist also should be talking to the child in a manner that their comfort level and the rapport is built, and is happy to be around. So what works most for me is show and tell. Sometimes we show some videos to the patients, the small children. They enjoy that in the form of cartoons or whatever. So if it is running in the operatory, they get to know how to brush their teeth. They relate to their favorite cartoon characters. So it helps a lot in making them comfortable and also coming for the treatment in the next appointment. And after this, I have also heard parents, they will complain. They will say, she doesn't brush. They have a lot of chocolates. I said, brushing is, they're not taught when they are, born how to brush. It is, you have to inculcate the habit, make it interesting rather than, making it punishment. Oh, you have to brush. No, it's like, just do it with them, sing along. Nowadays, we get a lot of nice brushes with the nice music in it and the alarms and things like that, which we never had the privilege of getting when we were young. For us, it used to be a punishment only. And then when parents complain of their children having a lot of sweets, chocolates, I say they are made for children. I till date have chocolates. I love chocolates, but that does not mean we do not, give them the chocolates just because they are going to have cavities. No, they won't have cavities. Give them as many as they want. But this is my way of tackling the issue, that I tell them, give them in one go. select the time, give them in one go. First, make a heap of chocolates. First is when they see it, they'll feel so satisfied and satiated that they won't get the urge to have it again. Okay, then let them have whatever amount. Of course, dietary part you have to take care. I'm just a dentist. I will look after the teeth from the teeth aspect. That let them have the chocolate, but make sure, take a promise. It's always a barter system, give and take. Make sure that they brush their teeth within, after a few minutes of having and relishing all the chocolates or all the sweets that they want to have, so that nothing is stuck on their teeth that can damage, or the bacteria can act and they can have any caries or dental issues. And as far as the habits are concerned, we need to, the dentist only can educate the parents. Parents' education is most important. And when they give small rewards to children for breaking their habits or maintaining good brushing habits, then also they get encouraged. And I feel that is all about it. And the last that again I would like to say is that tell all our patients that creating smiles is our duty and flashing it is your right.
Thank you so much. I love that. Thank you, Radhika. And it is so important. I have been branded by all my friends and people here as well, that chocoholic dentist. So I will bear that in mind. And I agree with you. It's not only how much sweets you have or chocolates you have, it is also how frequently you have and what kind of chocolates you have. For example, sticky chocolates will do much more damage than a biscuit or the crispy ones. And if you keep having every half an hour, even a little piece, is much worse than having a bar at one go, and particularly after food, because you salivate a lot, and it is so much better. So yes, I do agree with what you said, but however, it is not only the teeth, it's for the general health as such. Having boxes and boxes of chocolates or sweets is not going to help. So it is also important to bear in mind. Thank you so much, Radhika. So we had one dentist who loved to solve problems for children. And we have another speaker who loves to face the problems and manage the elderly population. So can I ask Hasina for you to tell how would you manage that, please?
Yep, I do see a lot of elderly patients in my practice, and I love seeing them. They are really, really nice, meaning I miss my grandparents, and I feel like, yep, I have them there. So yes, we really have to, focus on their health. It's very important. I make it a point that they are seen every 6 months. It becomes even more necessary for them because, oral hygiene, like Naganandi rightly pointed out, how you should be brushing, how you should be using the right amount of paste and all that. Well said and done, but as you get older, right? As we age, there is a lot of problems. The dexterity of the hands, we are not able to do the right things because there are so many chronic illnesses also regarding, which kind of makes it more challenge for them to maintain their oral hygiene. So it's very important. Just like, we age, teeth age too. So you see that in the elderly population, you will see that the enamel is totally lost. You'll see that the dentin is actually growing, that it kind of shrinks the inner, the inside layer of the tooth, which is the pulp, the nerves, which basically makes it look darker. So they basically not anymore white or, translucent. They're more like, dull, dark. They become dark in color. So when they come to the office, it's a great time for us to educate them, to tell them how oral hygiene is so important, talk to them and ask the loved ones to help them kind of do the right way of brushing, because they may think they're brushing, but they're really not doing so. I see that there are several reasons, about a couple of reasons. Very much important in the elderly is, the first being decay. It's diagnosing of decay, which happens because of, again, chronic illnesses. They are taking a lot of medications. What are the side effects of medications? Dry mouth. Dry mouth is a big big problem because we don't have the saliva to flush away the bacteria, and then you have to make sure that the cavities, because of the dry mouth, can be avoided. Trying to educate them, telling them about a water intake, telling them about sipping water, giving them some biotine, which is a little mouth rinse, which can help them. There are some lozenges which can also help create the saliva in the mouth. So those are the things which we can talk to them. Unless you see them, we're not going to be able to help them. Again, you have the other, like Nandini pointed out, so many diseases, heart disease, which is mostly seen in the elderly population. That again, the inflammation is not a good thing. Inflammation in the body, in the oral cavity, causes, the bacteria to go into the bloodstream. So we have to educate, it's more important that we see them. Diabetes, again, the blood sugar level in the saliva causes the more, the accumulation of bacteria. Again, that's not very helpful either. So we have cancer. Earlier you come, you see that a lot in the elderly too. That can be diagnosed if we see them at the right time. Tooth loss, they are losing teeth. They're not able to chew, function properly. They're not able to eat a proper diet, which again helps the overall well-being. In that category, we have to talk about the dentures. We have to look at the dentures. Again, with dry mouth, the dentures are going to not fit very well. So you have to kind of figure out how we can help them. It's very important that the dentures have to be relined, because as we grow older, the bone also goes down. When you have no teeth, the bone resorbs. So what happens? The denture gets loose. You cannot wear a loose denture. That causes more problems in the oral cavity. So you have to, tell them that it needs to be relined, made it tighter. So every 6, it kind of depends on how the dentures have to be relined at a certain time, as well as trying to get new dentures. Sometimes people are having their dentures for ages, like 20 years. And you're like, no, you need a new denture, because the oral cavity changes. As we get older, everything changes. So a lot of education. And the big one is the pneumonia, which Nandini rightly pointed out, that the bacteria, which if the oral cavity is not cleaned, there is a way that, just the breathing, the bacteria can go to the lungs, causes bacterial pneumonia, which definitely can be, the risk of it can be reduced with proper oral health. So I see more and more why we should be seeing them, educating them, talking to them, and they love to talk too, because they think they feel lonely too. So I think dentist is a place, I think, where many of them feel very nice to, they really open up to you. Like I said, once that trust happens, you can hear their life stories. It's just amazing how that relationship changes. There's no more fear involved over there. So I really enjoy that part of my profession. And I think more so that we should take care of our elderly.
Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Asin. I couldn't agree more. Sometimes my receptionists tell me that do they come to see you to share stories, or do they come to get dental treatment? I say both, because particularly elderly people, they sometimes feel lonely, like you rightly mentioned, and it is good for their mental health as well. It takes 2 minutes more for you to just have a general chit chat, and sometimes they bring photographs of their grandchildren, the holidays, or events what they went to, and it only takes a few seconds, a few minutes for you to spend, but it makes all the difference for them. So I think it is really, really important. And as you said, it is like an old shoe. People get so comfortable with their old dentures, and they're very reluctant to change. And there are different techniques you can copy as much as you can from the previous denture. So I think it is important. The first hurdle is to get them in and gain that rapport with them and have that relationship. And I think I'm sure you do it beautifully, and it will become easier. So thank you so much for that, Hasin. We have spoken about children. Radhika addressed it, and Hasina addressed the elderly population. However, we have this large sector in between population, neither children nor elderly. Our bracket, when we call them elderly, is getting higher and higher. So the more we are falling into the middle category. So Raju, can I ask you, how would you manage that sector of the population when they come to you?
Yeah, here it's the best way is we have to start with the journey of the tooth here. So oral cavity has two types of tissues basically. One is the hard tissue, which is the tooth and the bone, and the soft tissue, which is the gums and the ligament supporting the tooth. So diseases of the mouth can be from the tooth to the gum or gum to the tooth. So improper oral hygiene measures can start a basic film which gets harder over a period of time and starts forming gum disease, which progresses to become a bone disease, which is called periodontitis. In this case, we can see the gum bleeding and eventually tooth starts to shake and fall off. Here, to get into some aspects of the tooth. Tooth has actually three surfaces, like most of them are mentioned. That's the enamel, which is a non-forming structure, and a protective layer it forms, and a dentin, and then the pulp, which holds the nerve in it. And further, it is divided into two portions, which is the visible portion, which is called the crown, and which is one more portion is the root, which is inside the bone. And the cavity in which the enamel and in the dentin stage can be easily restored using tooth-colored restoration, and it can be protected from further deterioration and progress. Any cavity which is in the dentin stage can be easily restored. But if the cavity is not restored timely and it progresses to the enamel stage and to the pulp to cause a root canal infection, then the only option is to remove the tooth or go for a root canal treatment in this case, and to save the tooth. And root canal treatment now has to be done, and it can be done in a single sitting or in multiple sittings. Whereas in a single sitting, it's now more preferably it is a single sitting because of we have the advancements for it. So it is painless, and it is basically done under local anesthesia. And it can be really where we clean up the infection from the root, remove all the nerves, and restore it, and restore back the functionality of the tooth. And if the root canal is not done, and to save the tooth in time, then the tooth tends to get fractured, and then where eventually it has to be extracted. Then the options of replacement comes into play, where you have the options of replacement in different ways. The replacement can be done. One is a removable type of replacement, where the removable type you use removable dentures, or the fixed type, where you have two options, where you have crowns and bridges, which was time tested, and many have, where you take the support of adjacent tooth and give crowns and bridges, or the implants, where wherever the tooth was removed, where we place a titanium screw into it and then restore it with a crown over it. And that's the option we have now. We have titanium, and then where the implants have to be integrated takes a few months, like couple of months, like 2 or 3 months, and then you restore it with the crown. And now we have again multiple types of implants where we can immediately place them and give them a crown also within 2 or 3 days and restore back their functionality. So that is where the ways of restoring back this crowd is. And my tagline will be like, dentistry here is not expensive. It's the neglect is.
Thank you so much, Raju. And it is also important to know the different options. Like you said, it's not, dentistry has evolved a lot over the years, and there are so many options now available for the patients to have. And I think it is really, really important to go and get that first chat or consultation to make sure that, it can be restored or maintained in any form or shape you can, the best way forward. Thank you so much, Raju. I know that you are implantologist and an endodontist, so you do save tooth and you also replace teeth. So thank you so much for that. So I think we are almost coming to that end of the show. It's, I wish we can keep going. Of course, we have time restriction. I'm going to ask one by one to say one thing what the audience can take away from today, and it's a must that they must remember. Firstly, can I ask Nandini, can you say one tip, please.
Yeah, eat a balanced, low sugar diet. That is, your diet should have low sugar as well as the acidic food should be less. Then consume lot of crunchy vegetables and fruits. Make your platter very nice. Then encourage tooth-friendly food like cheese, peanuts, groundnuts, which has phytates. It will fight. So I would like to conclude, eat a balanced diet with low sugar.
Sure. Thank you so much, Nandini. Can I ask you, Radhika?
I would first tell the parents, please don't scold your children for not brushing properly unless you teach them how to brush properly. Don't tell them, don't come and complain that they have a lot of chocolates. They cannot go to the market to buy. You are the ones who buy for them. Buy limited. Maintain the barter system of brushing and having chocolates and a balanced diet. You can, children are very gullible. If you, and of course, they are copycats. They will do what they see. So show and tell. If you show your good oral hygiene and the methods, they are going to follow you for life.
Sure. Thank you, Radhika. That is so correct, because children don't learn from what you tell, they learn from what you do. So yes, correct. You have to show. Hasin, what is yours?
My take-home message for everyone is going to be taking care of your health, dental health is like taking care of your overall well-being. So I would say, please visit the dentist. They are not going to hurt you. They're going to help you.
Thank you so much. Raju?
See, it's like a stitch in time saves 9. It's like the dentistry is not expensive. It's the neglect. So better go to a dentist at the early stages, restore your tooth instead of getting into next level of getting root canal and whatever. Then if you lose the tooth, going to an implant level. So it's going to cost a lot. One restoration is equivalent to 7 to 8. One root canal is equivalent to 10 to 15 restorations. So it's better you save them at the very early stage.
Sure.
So
perfect.
My tagline would be, dentistry is not expensive. It's the neglect.
Sure.
Neglect is.
Thank you so much. I'm going to get all your taglines together for sure. Thank you so much, Raju. What is your one-liner? One-liner takeaway?
Yeah, I'll make it very short. I would want everybody to go back with the message that healthy living starts from healthier teeth. Since mouth is a window to the body. So yeah, healthy living starts from healthier teeth.
Sure, perfect. Thank you so much, Rinke. Thank you so much for everyone for contributing to how to promote oral health. Please stay on because we will have the exclusive Q&A with the speakers a bit later. And today, I really had fun. Thank you so much. I've seen many faces from the dental college popping in today on the show. So thank you so much. I haven't seen everyone, but I thank you, Lanka and Frank, for being here as well. So it was great fun to host all of you. Following tradition, I'm going to announce what is going to happen next week. It is considering the festive season. The part of any day is sharing our show with you, but especially when it comes to festive season. So next week, it is going to be jingling and mingling with us on the 19th of December, 2021, same time, same place. So we are happy to present melodious songs, Christmas carols to herald in the season, and recitals and dancing, laughing, and even stand-up comedy. So hoping to see you all to come and join us to celebrate the festive season ahead. Now over to Kirbe Kahoot to give the vote of thanks.
On behalf of Meet Menaca celebrating you, we'd like to celebrate all those who are on Facebook and also those who are regularly participating on this wonderful, informative Zoom talk show. And last but not least, we'd like to celebrate all our lovely panels, 5 wonderful panel of presenters. Today we have had Dr. Haseen, Dr. Riku, Dr. Naga Nandini, Dr. Raju, and Dr. Radhika. We would like, on behalf of Meet Menaca, celebrating you, celebrate your profession, celebrate your dedication, and celebrate what you guys are doing in your little corners, because promoting oral health, I have learned so much. In closing, I would like to say, next time you think of skipping a night of brushing, just imagine the thousands upon thousands of happy bacteria in your mouth, popping acids all over your teeth. And also remember our 5 panelists, including Dr. Menaca, never stop brushing your teeth in the night. Remember, teeth is always in style. With that, I thank all of you.
Thank you so much, Kirvai, for that lovely vote of thanks. And thank you so much. As some of you might have noticed, today I have dropped the titles when I address them, because I see them as friends, that because I know them for a few decades. That's the reason I have dropped the titles and called them by the names I usually call them after the formal introduction. So thank you so much, all of you, Haseen, Rinku, Raju, Radhika, Nandini, everyone. So thank you so much. Had so much of fun hosting you. Please be here. We will have exclusive Q&A with the speakers shortly. Thank you so much for people who are on Facebook listening to us. We are hoping to see you next week to celebrate the festive season with you. Now we have come to the time to say goodbye. Until then, stay safe, be healthy, and keep smiling.